What's up everyone, Speedy here. Welcome to this 1v1 video where we're going to be doing 2 live games as well as 1 replay review right afterwards. Let's get right into it. Okay, here we are in game number 1 of the video. Okay, what the heck is happening? Hold on, quick check. What the heck happened to the server there, dude? I'm not going crazy, right? I saw that too. I'm not going crazy. Did I see that too? Like, did you guys saw that? Like, the game just like whoop, like that for a moment. Like, what? He didn't need to touch that ball there. Honestly, he completely trolled that. Ideally, in that situation, you read the bounce. You don't try to like, you don't try to rush it too much. Nice. This is a perfect start for the video, though. Opponent kind of trolled with that second goal there. That goal was just a good setup there. Just playing it well, being in a good spot. That's going to be tough for him to get to. Nice, dude. Really, really, really good start for this game. That's really well done. I'm happy with that. Go in. Couldn't get the goal there, but that's still it's pressure though. It's really, really bad play there. Yeah, 100% deserve to get scored on there. What you want to do is, if you're going to turn, be aware of like the distance between the ball and your opponent. If that distance is already closing before you turn, it's not really a good idea. That's a fair play. Do get a whole lot of boost out of it though. Not too worried about the placement here. Dude, that was actually played perfectly. Like, it's just being patient for the 50. That's kind of what you want to do there. Remember, it's in your corner, so it's in a pretty safe place. Didn't have to rush that shot. He messes that up. Nice. Really, really, really good pressure. That's honestly, this has probably been the best start to a video I think I've ever had at all on my channel. This is a pretty insane start, and I am all for it. Grab that pad. It's actually really important you grab that pad. Hot. I don't mind the bump there. I kind of expected that, but like, misread that. Honestly, I shouldn't have gotten off of the backboard there. Or, if anything, I need to stay grounded and kind of just like start to force him high earlier. That would have been fine there. I can play for that corner boost. Oh, I played that poorly. Oh, fuck that up. Nicely done. That is the power of a power slide cut, ladies and gentlemen. One of the things I preach to a lot of people, and that is why the power slide cuts are just insanely effective. Yeah, I shouldn't have come off the boost there. I was trying to go for some kind of delay there. He actually goes for front flip kickoff. That is a strat. That was pretty sick. That was a pretty sick round of air dribble. Nice. Trying to get a bump there. Didn't really have a shot per se, but just wanted to put pressure. Yeah, that's what you want to do there is just GG. What you want to do there is just basically not shoot right away. You see how he's like positioning? So say this is the post here, and he's positioning here. He's trying to wait for me to get ready to shoot, and because of that, what's happening is that he does have momentum. So if I just don't shoot as I coming in closer and closer, if I just don't shoot, it makes it a lot harder for him to defend. Here we are in game number 2 of the video. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was not expecting him to like play the spacing the way he did earlier, which fortunately I was able to be in a better spot, but it works. Just kind of like super awkward for a moment there. What you want to do is side flip in that direction. Also, what you want to do is not insta-shoot when you know you've tripped your opponent up. Like there, he's tripped up, you got time. So just get a control touch and then make sure you get like a high percentage like shot afterwards. The opponent's also 0 boost, so he has no recovery. So just those are things you want to be careful about as a player. Nice. Well done. One of the big mistakes I make in these like little like corner, not corner kickoffs, like 50-50s on the kickoff there, is whenever you get into like kind of like a scrum, it kind of can get a little tricky, and I'm often impatient in those plays. Yeah, he just was aggressive there. High boost. Got pretty unlucky with the spawn timing of that mid boost there. It came up right after I was there, which is annoying. What is he doing on these kickoffs, dude? He's doing some kind of like super weird delay and it's just working and I don't understand it. Okay, that's weird. That's annoying. Oh, dude, that's so annoying. Come on. I need to win the kickoffs for a change. Nice. Play off the opponent's miss there, and get myself into a good spot. It's kind of an awkward touch there. That's why I hit it that way, so that way it was kind of like floating. Nice try on the air dribble bump. But it gets you scored on because it's a high committal play. Air dribble bumps, air dribbles, flip resets, things like that are typically very high committal in position. So what happens is if you don't get them to work, you will likely get yourself scored on there. He bumps me, but that actually helps me there. I'm trying to experiment with a different fake kickoff. It's hard to do. They're just, when the opponent turns away, one of the things you really want to do is if your opponent is turning away for just a moment, you want to place the shot when they're not paying attention for the shot, because that's how it catches them off guard. Around the bump. Once again, very high to middle position. That was fantastic with that shot, Speedy. He has to be careful about his spacing there. He's kind of spaced too back, like behind the play. GG. Just puts him in a spot that you can't really recover from it. Okay, here we are in the replay portion of the video. So first things first, this was a game I lost just in between the first and second games, and definitely made quite a few mistakes. I've had a lot of opponents be really aggressive on the mid boost child there, so that's kind of why I was kind of just being kind of careful there to not overcommit. I could be a bit better about the placement for the 50. Would have put me in a bit of a better spot for it. That's a good spot there. Just being able to flip left, so it pushes the ball forward, but it doesn't push it too far to the right. It also allows me to have momentum there to grab the boost as well. Puts the opponent in a bad spot. This is a bad play here. So what you want to avoid kind of doing here is giving the ball away, because if I hit this like further down, the opponent was in a perfect position to scoop it and just be able to score it. So a better option for the play is staying with the ball here, staying in the flow of the play, letting the ball come up this direction, and then hit it across to the corner. Corner is a safer place, and you can have a better chance at contesting the play. What happens is if you kind of boom it like that, unless you boom it really far outward, you're not going to be in a position where you can like really keep possession. And I ended up giving possession to play. It was a pretty awkward play there. That should have come like kind of gone worse than it did. This is a bit of an interesting one. This is something you see in ones a lot, are these like little close quarters tangles. They look really weird, but in reality, it is a fight. It is a fight. It is a really tough position to be in because you're kind of having to be really aggro there. It's unfortunate not getting the bump there. It's just too far behind. Good awareness of the flick there. Also being aware of getting a touch there. I could see the opponent was committing to the play. Grab this. It's in a good spot here. This is where I actually inevitably get scored on here because of all the space I gave the opponent. I gave the opponent way too much space there. Just couldn't get a contact there. That's really unfortunate, but it's the spacing. So what's happening in this position here is as I'm shadowing the play, keeping up with the play, he fakes here. He does a really good job of faking this. This is what kind of like messed me up here, is that he fakes the power slide cut and he slows it down. Instead of like going for the immediate power slide cut with speed, he slows it down. Whether he did that out of comfort or because he was trying to attack it a certain way, it's hard to say. But what he did was he essentially forced a lot of space open because I had to respect the potential like power slide cut. Because if he did, then I would need to be in a position to get set up for it. He ended up like slowing it down differently, and I ended up giving way too much space. So this is a big problem there. Instead, what you could do is be a little bit closer to the play and just slow down a little bit. So kind of read as he's moving and then just recognize when it's threatening and when it's not. I kind of recognized it incorrectly, and that's what ended up giving all this space, and of course, inevitably got me scored on. This is a good position to kind of find yourself in. What you want to do is if your opponent is scooping the ball like this, and they're kind of like looking up at the ball, because I could tell most likely the opponent was going to be like looking at the ball for a moment, making a decision on what to do, and also they're seeing me challenge like I did. As the defender here, when you see the like opponent get separation from the ball, and what separation in this context means is a moment when there's a like essentially there's a good distance between the player and the ball. That's called separation. And the more that you get there, the more of an opportunity as a defender that you have to be able to essentially re-attack the play and counter it. So that's a situation where that played into my favor. You'll see later in the game some situations where I wasn't able to get the right 50, and those will be kind of shown as well. So this is a really poor example of a power slide cut attempt without paying attention to the opponent's position. So what happens here is literally I get scored on. What you want to do is bring the ball up like this. You can go with a couple of different options. You could flick it here. So if you see your opponent's about to chow, you see how the opponent just to the right here is turning like he did. If I just simply like flicked it there, like a front flip flick, could have easily gotten it past him without it having like a really like a dangerous position for me to have to deal with. Another option could have been to go for a double jump pop. So get under it. So say the ball is here, go pop and then pop again. And what that does is it gets that verticality, that vertical pop, as Flakes would call it, and that puts it in a safe spot. Because I went for a power slide cut there, that was a poor position to go for a power slide cut and just a poor decision. Here just happened to be patient there. Unfortunately, the 50 wasn't as favorable as I would have liked. This was bad. This play right here was bad. Because look at all this separation, I gave possession away right away. Something you could do differently is recognize the space of your opponent. Earlier, as you're coming up, like at this point here, as you're coming off the wall here, look left to see what your timing is. I decided to look left here, and that gave me way too little time. So this is what's essentially an awareness mistake. And what you want to do in order to boost your awareness is come up, and as you're kind of getting set up into this position and you're getting ready to touch the ball again, look left earlier and see where you are relative to your opponent, and then be able to make it a decision. Because I kind of rushed that, I went for a flip here. Both the flip itself is committal and also too much power, which meant the ball boomed off the wall here and I had no recovery. Look how far, look how much distance there is between me and the ball, and look how I just completely gave possession away. I don't mind the aggression here. It's risky because I'm low boost. Opponent does a good job of being patient. I don't mind that. I actually could have gotten potential control here. Opponent does a good job controlling the play, just being patient here. One of the things you want to be doing is you want to make the save later on as it's getting closer and closer to the goal. And there's a big reason why. So if you try to make essentially what's called like a shadow defense save, where you're aerial, like doing an aerial behind, and you're kind of like trying to float. It does work, but it's really committal in positioning. It's really awkward, and also uses a lot of boost that if you stay grounded and just read where it's going to go, make a cut to the side and pop it, you'll be in a better position. And in this position, I ended up getting a good possession to work with, and it works. Can't really go for that boost really easily though. You do get the good bump there, so that works, but I have to take time there just because it's awkward. If I popped it to the left as the opponent's coming up, that could have actually been a position that I could set up a goal with, because using the backboard. So if you pop it to the left there, essentially what happens is that the ball's going to roll up there, opponent's going to be likely out of position, and you'll have something to work with. But because this, I should have gotten scored on here. Opponent did a good job there. I got lucky that it posted. But this was definitely like, opponent did a good job being aware. I rushed this thinking the opponent was going to be committing here. They did, and they did a good job there. They actually played a pretty good patient style there. I didn't really play this well. This I did well because he kind of made himself awkward there. And then here, my goal there was because I was low boost, flip it into a position so that way it gives me a chance to get boost and work with the possession play. I don't mind the pinch play there, but what you can do instead is instead of kind of like leaning back as I did, try to pinch it a little bit more by getting a bit more like a bit more direction with the ball. So say like the wall is here and the ball is kind of like coming up into that position. Instead of being like this, you want to be kind of more like that and point into it, so that way you can actually get a pinch angle. So what happens if you're going like too far back here, unless you do like the Arsenal, I think it's called the BBL pinch, where you do the pinch with your butt. That's not really positioned like where you can really score that, but unless you do like a pinch here in this way, it's not high percentage. So while I don't mind that I went for it, it's just there's a small adjustment that I could go for, because it can pop it over the side here, and I could be aggressive here, go for either a bump or be in a position where it could potentially roll up over the midpoint here and be scoreable. That's not really good. I need to jump later. I don't have to jump so early for that. I understand the reasoning, because in this moment I was trying to get ready for the opponent to challenge that, and I thought they were going to. Like, I thought he was going to go here, and he didn't. I ended up jumping in a position that was pretty awkward and just didn't get contact there like I should have. This is really poor contact, and also really even more so poor recovery. Yeah, unfortunately, again, same thing with spacing. Lost myself a possession play and then end up getting scored on because of it. Possessions are really critical as a player. You have to be very much recognizing that you lose possessions and you put yourself in a bad spot. Actually, potentially, if I got a slightly better power slide cut, I actually could have scored that. I just have to be careful there. Unfortunately, missed that boost. That's a really bad boost miss. Makes it really awkward. I do a good job of recovering at least. I'm also trying to watch for my opponent there. You can see with the camera movement. Nice. So this is a more of an offensive patience type of play here, and what I mean by that is essentially like by being patient with the play and not giving it away, or power slide cutting too hard and actually like inadvertently giving it away as well. By keeping the ball close, the opponent can't challenge, because if they do, I could do what I did there. I can flick it. So that's a good example of like a play that was pretty well done there. That's a good flip. It flips in a direction relative to the play. It allows me to get essentially like a soft touch without it being too dangerous. I can get this mid boost. Of course I fake here because I'm trying to force the opponent. This is a big mistake. Unless you're really comfortable coming off the wall backwards like higher level players can, don't challenge here, because this I should have 100% been scored on there. This should have been in the net. This is a really, really terrible mistake. What you can do instead is you want to be patient here. You can, if you go off the wall there, you can, but I would say do it earlier so you have mental space and physical space to actually make the adjustment in the air. If you're coming up like this, it's really awkward. I flipped left when I should have flipped right. You know, you zig instead of zag, essentially, and creates awkwardness with that play. Here was a big mistake. I could remember this moment. I was very frustrated with myself, because in this moment, I made a poor challenge, not recognizing the extra touch that he was going to get there. So this one right here, the spacing he had was awkward there, so I challenged, and I went for it there. If anything, if you go for those early plays, try to play ball and predict the ball placement just a little bit. You don't want to predict it too far ahead because it's readable. The more ahead you try to like get ahead of it, essentially, the easier it is for the opponent to read that and see like, oh, you're going for this play, I'll just go low. Or if you're going low, I'll go high. That type of thing. But if you predict just a tiny bit ahead, just one step ahead there, and it's a very small step, it gives you enough time to be able to recognize that extra touch that they can make there, and then you get yourself in a good spot. Nice. That's a good beat there. Opponent really didn't have a lot of time to set up there, so it's pretty awkward for him. So this is well done there. You want to be aggressive there. You don't have a lot of time on the clock there to be able to make your play. This here leading up to this was also a good play. If you're in a position like this defensively, be really careful about kind of making this touch here, because you have no momentum, and if your opponent, like in my case, me, was going for potential bump play, I have full boost and I have speed. Makes this really easy to go for, and it's hard for the opponent to be able to like make a positional adjustment in time to actually like adjust for the play and not get scored on. Yeah, this is a big mechanical error. It's really bad because this actually, again, a better position would have definitely been safer. Commitment-wise, like I don't mind that I went for this wave dash there, but the reason why I flipped there is because I wave dashed too early, meaning essentially the flip portion of the wave dash. So say this is the ground here. When I'm going for the wave dash, what you want to do is like essentially the rear wheels, as they're getting ready just to come down, you flip. Well, what I did was I was still separated and I flipped, which meant the car essentially at the halfway point went like this, and that's what causes the flip. So I don't mind that I went for that. It's just in a slightly better position and timing, I would have been okay there. It wouldn't have lost me possession there, and actually it could have done something with that play. Front flipping, okay. Nah, it wasn't a really good front flip because I didn't really get a clean possession play. I understand the touch there, but by front flipping there instead of side flipping, for one, I'm committed to that forward direction, so I can't move. The side flip there also put me in an awkward spot. This is good patience there, just kind of seeing where the ball was going to play. Had to be patient here. This is a bad read. Opponent does a good job of maintaining momentum here. And this play was definitely really unfortunate because I went for an early chow that was just super risky and shouldn't have gone for it. The opponent was like watching me, and that was just stupid. What he could have done instead is, if you're an attacker in this position and it's a potential like high stakes play, fake here, but don't turn all the way because he's playing for that. Or you want to boom the heck out of the ball as fast as possible and not flip the way I did there. This is a bad flip. It's a side flip that goes in a favorable direction of the opponent. You want to play with the ball, or you want to fake and then try to shadow and then force him to overcommit. If you enjoyed watching this video, I'd like to ask you to hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Speed D Man out.